It's officially day 14. We're completing 2 weeks now of journaling, and your consistency is to be celebrated. So thank you so much for being here. Welcome back to another session. So much to say, so little time sometimes. So I'm going to try to keep it brief, and I'm going to try to go straight to the point, which is that on day 7 of each week of journaling, of the 3 weeks that we have together, as we did last week, is a day of review. So today we're going to start backwards. We're going to go straight into the journaling prompts, and then we're going to talk about why this is important and how it's going to translate into next week. So for our journaling, we're going to do the same thing we've done every single day. We're going to mark our day at the top, day 14, our date, which today here is Sunday, and I think it's July 25th. Who knows? Thank goodness we have these little electronic devices that tell us what day it is. We're going to draw our Valence-Arousal Model. We're going to mark where we're sitting today. We're going to describe how that feels. We're going to get as granular as we can. We've done this every single day, so now it should be almost second nature. If it's still challenging to be detail-oriented or adding color, that's okay. Just let it rip for a little bit and see what comes out. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if it translates into a story or into a drawing, it's okay to doodle something if you can't describe it. So feel free to get creative. And then you're going to get your BOLT score. Maybe your BOLT score today was 24. And then you're going to get your sleep score, and maybe you had a 3. And you're going to answer all the prompts that we have been answering. Now I'm curious, and you can leave a comment in the chat if you want as I go through this. How has it been trying to recall your dreams? Has it been challenging? Has it been easy? Is it something that you've noticed that maybe you need to have a notebook next to your bed in order to capture the dreams? Or are you able to remember them with a little bit more clarity from the time you wake up to the time you sit down to journal? I would be curious to see how you're doing there. Now, once we have completed what we've been doing on a daily basis for our journaling, today we're going to do a review. And remember how last week we drew the 7 circles and we drew a curve that showed us our emotional variability? We're going to do the same thing today, and we're going to do it with not only the VA model, but also the BOLT score and the sleep score. So the way that we're going to do this is like this. We're going to take a piece of paper or our page. Maybe I can fit it here. It's fine. I'll fit it here. And we're going to draw 3 lines. Just like that. On the top line, you're going to draw 7 circles. Those represent your VA model for the day. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Today is day 7. You're going to draw a vertical line that's going to intersect the bottom 2 lines. And you're going to do that from each one of your circles. Sorry, this looks a little scrappy, but hopefully it makes sense to you. And then from there, you're going to go back in time, and you're going to add to every single VA model where you fell, including today, day 7. That's the last one. And then you're simply going to connect those dots in a nice little curve. On the second line, what you're going to do is you're going to mark the top right below the first, right below where the first line starts. You're going to mark a 60-second mark. In the middle, you're going to have a 30-second one, and at the main line, you're going to have a 0-second one. This right here, 0, 30, 60, is going to represent your Bolt score. So let's say you scored 25 on day 1, you scored 31 on day 2, you scored 15 on day 3, you were up to 40 on day 4, drop down to 35, drop down again, and then maybe today you're feeling great. You're going to mark where your Bolt score took you for each day, and then you're simply going to do the same thing. You're going to connect those dots, and you're going to get another curve. And then finally at the bottom, on the y-axis, which is the vertical, you're going to write 0 right at the main line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is for your sleep. Remember, I came in late with this. I did it on day 2. I said, hey, let's start scoring our sleep 0 to 5, 0 being terrible, 5 being glorious. Well, 0 is I didn't get any sleep at all. 5, I was glorious. Let's say I had a glorious sleep on day 1, and then I had a 3 for day 2, maybe a 4, a 2, a 1, a 4, and today a 5. We're going to do the same thing as we did with the Bolt score and the Valence-Arousal models. We're going to connect those in a curve. Now, why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this to notice the variation not only in our state of being, our emotional state, but also in the way that we are able to access it through our physiology. And this is through the Bolt score. This is through our breath. And in addition to that, we're drawing a line, a curved line, to see if there's a relationship between that which we are physiologically, physically, and that which we are mentally and emotionally, if it has anything to do with our sleep, our recovery. And if you notice that there's a relationship between those curves where you notice, oh, when my sleep goes down, my mood tends to follow. My Bolt score tends to follow. Let's see if you can find a pattern there. And I simply want you to, under these 3 lines, to describe what you're seeing. What are the trends that you're noticing? If there are huge variations and you feel like the variability of each one of your scores goes up and downs with big peaks and valleys, that's something that we should be addressing this week. And we'll talk about it in terms of our practice, which is what we're going to really focus on in terms of integration. But I want you to write about it. If you've noticed that there are no correlations between each one of the scores, write that down too. Start to notice that. And you don't have to have a solution today. You simply have to acknowledge what you're seeing, and you simply have to describe it. Now, once you've done that, we're going to get into the questions or prompts for today. And thankfully, I think they're pretty straightforward and simple. So you're not going to have to think too much. But if you do, I apologize in advance, because I know you've been getting a lot of homework these days, and you've been doing a great job keeping up. And I know that you're keeping up because the interactions in the group are showing that. Now, the first prompt is, I want you to name and describe 1 to 3, between 1 and 3, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly routines. So I want you to think about, what do I do daily? 1 thing, 2 things, max 3. What do I do weekly? What is something that I do monthly? And what is something that I do on a yearly basis? An example for something that you do on a yearly basis is maybe I take a family trip, a family vacation. I go on a retreat. I take a course. What is it? Something that you do on a yearly basis. On a monthly basis, I run my finances. On a weekly basis, on Sundays, I meet up with friends and family to go out for lunch or dinner. On a daily basis, I brush my teeth. I exercise. That simple. Once you have identified that which you do daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly, and that are routines that are relevant to you, I want you to take each one of those routines and I want you to tell me how they serve you. What kind of value do they bring to you? Once you've described that, which is going to be the longest portion of today's journaling, you're going to ask yourself if there are any routines that you've been wanting to add or remove from your daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly lifestyle. And if there's anything that you would like to add or remove, if you haven't done it yet or put it into play, what is it that is currently holding you back from doing that? What is bringing up resistance for you? Whatever that resistance is, acknowledge it and don't think about having to resolve it. And why is this? Well, there is a large part of our human experience that is self-resolving. It's kind of like our physiology. We are constantly being regulated into homeostasis, into balance. We get a little bit off, our brain sends some signals, we produce some hormones, there's a regulation, and all of a sudden the chemistry in our body changes, and we come back to something that is a little bit more neutral, more stable. The reason we are self-regulating is because you need a base to start from. Your routines are your base. Your lifestyle and your practices and your relationship to those routines are your regulation. And the majority of it, although you may make some choices as to when you're going to do the routines, how are you going to do them, most of them are reflexive. You do them unconsciously. And this reflexive ability that we have to self-regulate, to self-design our lifestyle is in great service to us. That being said, everything, as we discussed, will pass. And when it passes, what will we be giving room for to come up next? How will we be transforming into the next stage, phase, expression of ourselves? By knowing, acknowledging what you have, you are also giving yourself the ability to notice what else could be. This is simply potential. I'm not sure why this is coming up, but I'm going to share it anyways and see where it takes me. Everything that I used to judge as a kid and I was scared of, in one way or another, has happened to me. I have had to confront it. My reflexive instinct of feeling scared of something, in one way or another, has manifested in my life in a way that I've had to confront it, deal with it, work with it, dance with it, to make it my friend. And yesterday, a lot of the conversation around certainty was in acknowledging that which feels safe. And also acknowledging that that which feels safe, certain right now, can one day disappear. It can fade away. And when it fades away, who will you be then? Moreover, who do you need to be then? Anybody who's become a parent knows that they're never ready to be a parent. But when they become the parent and that role is required of them, one delivers at the best of their abilities, but they deliver. Whether we feel ready to be done, to let go, for something to end, it's important to know that whatever's on the other side, every single one of us is capable of handling it. And while we are waiting for that to happen, because everything will, to some degree, occur at some level, how are we preparing ourselves? What does that preparation look like? These are our routines. These are our practices. And remember, as I said yesterday, routine is the route, it's the way. What we're leading into now this week is into noticing what path we are on and what path we would like to continue to be on going forward, whether it looks similar or different than the one that we are currently navigating. The beauty is that whatever you chose, the experience accumulated over the time that you've been navigating this path is going to carry over to the next. But it's going to require you to be fully available to the emotional experience that will come up, the mental dissonance that could potentially exist, which is that which you are living doesn't match that which you expected to see. And ultimately, all of that which you are doing and choosing to navigate is there because you are moving towards getting a need met. And when you realize what that need is, all of a sudden you will have an experience, a practice, a system, a method, a routine that's going to allow you to plug in. And that routine may be as simple as exercising awareness, realizing, oh, wait, something has changed in my life right now. And I didn't expect it to happen right now, but I'm prepared. And I know I'm prepared because I have the tools. And it may be so that when that change comes, you will not even be aware that it is happening because you're acting reflexively. And you will only notice this in retrospect. You will only notice once you have gone through the transition. Day 14 is the transition from experimentation into integration. In transition, we feel confused. In transition, it gets a little hard and uncomfortable. In transition, we make mistakes. In transition, we also have a chance to build, because it's in transition that marks the clarity, the contrast, to give you the ability to see what you need to do next, how you need to do it next. And I don't know what that is, but I know that we are practicing it by exploring the simple thought processes that we're going through with our daily journaling. And as we dive into tomorrow, day 15, and we begin to work with integration, the anchor here is always going to be our expression in this world from a deliberate place, meaning that we are choosing it. And the goal is to notice whether the way that we are choosing is different than it was before we started this practice. And as I've said many times now, that difference may be subtle, but subtlety is enough to make significant change. Let's see what the questions are coming in here, or the comments around the dreaming, because it may relate to this last little bit that I want to share. Madalena says, challenging, they escape quickly. Yes, dreams are hard to grasp. Hope says, easy, very vivid dreamer. Never recorded my dreams before, though. Very cool. I would love to know what has come up from recording your dreams, and if there's something that has translated from your dreaming state to your waking state. Ashley says, I've been having more meaningful dreams since journaling. I've been able to remember them for longer, not just when I wake. That's cool. Okay, so there's a little bit of everything. Challenging, yes, dreams are challenging, just like life is challenging. If you think about it, a lot of life, this awakened state, is just happening. And you somehow are going on with the ride. And it's hard to recall every step you take, every turn you made. It's kind of like a dream. But the more you practice working with the dream state, the more aware you become of the subtleties of your awakened state. The ones of you who are vivid dreamers, that is something that I highly encourage working with. In fact, this morning, one of my dreams was I was working through several concepts around this 21-day journaling, because I'm already in my mind, I've finished it and I'm reviewing everything that we've done. And in my awakened state, I'm trying to integrate that information without it being projected onto you and taking away from the routine that I've set up. So this is something that requires some juggling, and it is pretty interesting once you start living it. Ashley said she's able to remember a little longer. Yes, this is exactly what I was alluding to, which is that the more you work with the subtle, the more you become aware of that which is sharp and clear. Let's see, a question that came through from Madalena is, how does that preparation articulate with living fully each day? Yeah, I think the question there is, what does living fully each day mean? And the answer, I think, is very simple. Living fully is when you are 100% responsible and willing to participate in this moment. It's not allowing anything that is outside of that which you have chosen to do to take away from this place. That's living at your fullest. And then if we think about the different needs that we've been navigating, physiological, physical, relational, craft, contribution, every single one of those are more than needs. They are levels of awareness and practice, preparation that has reflexively developed you to put out an expression that is going to capture more fulfillment. The deliberate practice is in making you effective, efficient at being reflexive. And effective and efficient, in this case, is the presentation, the expression, the performance that produces that sense of fulfillment. Hope says, I notice many dreams are based off of daily conversations or past things I haven't healed from. Every once in a while, I seem to dream about things that haven't happened yet or oddly come true. Yes, dreams are funny like that. I'm not a dream expert, but I know that a lot of people who have practiced working with dreams know that at a cognitive level, dreams are a great place for processing that which we struggle to process in a conscious state, in an awakened state. So that's pretty normal. And something that may be leading to is saying that you maybe need to spend more time on a daily basis processing the unhealed business in your life. And this, of course, doesn't have to happen right now. It's something that, as long as you're aware of, maybe you can start to dedicate some time. Then again, I'm not a therapist nor a dream specialist, but I do know that it's extremely important to work with the subtleties of our dreams. The other aspect of dreaming is like a review, and it's a review that happens in very creative ways. And I think something to take from our dreaming, especially when we're dreaming about something that hasn't happened yet, something that is completely new, is to acknowledge and celebrate the creative power that we have. And this dovetails into the last little bit that I wanted to share, is that routines are wonderful, and there's very little new stuff under the sun in terms of how to live life, how to express life. And it's important that we allow ourselves to work with what is already working, to model that which has allowed for other people to be successful. And I reiterate, successful completion with the ability to create succession, and that being progress, forward motion, a stepping stone that serves as a stone that's going to take you to the next place. But the creative power that we have, that is something that we shall be very mindful of if we want to integrate the lessons. And why is this? Well, because our creative power is the one that allows us to fit two items, two ideas, two emotions, two people, two systems, two cultures, two worlds together when they seemingly are unable to fit together. They seemingly look uncompatible or incompatible. I can't even speak English anymore. My sleep has been 1. I can tell you that. And my dreams have been trippy. Quick aside, Tanya and I, we have our grandson, and he's unfortunately a little sick. So if you've ever dealt with a sick baby, it requires a lot of your time. So you won't sleep much. So anybody planning on having babies, prepare for sleepless nights, especially when they aren't feeling very well. That being said, although I don't have a lot of mental sharpness because of my lack of sleep, I feel great. I feel empowered. I feel in love. I feel excited. I feel able to show up. And that feeling, that sense of decisiveness, of knowing, inner knowing, regardless of where the waves of the world are taking us, that is, in my opinion, one of the ingredients for living a fulfilled life, a fulfilled day, like Madalena was saying. And this requires practice, deliberate practice, like we are doing together here for the 21 days that we have embarked on. I get a sense that I missed something, but I'm going to see you tomorrow. And today, the most important part is that we review the numbers, that we describe that which we notice in terms of the relationship between our emotional state, our breathing state, and our sleeping state. And then that we start to address our routines. And that in the address of those routines, you will know how to tackle this week, which will be around goals, practicing, and taking yourself to new levels of understanding of your self-expression and how you're going to continue to express yourself going forward. I'm going to read the last comment that came through from Sarah or Phil, I'm not sure. Because every single person is unique, it should never feel like something shouldn't be done because it has already been done. Everybody brings something new to the table. Yes. And that newness, once again, the key word is that newness, although subtle, can be felt. This is the same feeling that you get when somebody walks into the room. They either feel like they fill the room, neutral, or they empty the room. Whatever you bring to something that has already been done can do those things. It can change the relationship, the experience. And it's that subtlety right there that is the defining factor for meaningful change. And that's what we're going for. And that's a very hard problem. It's a problem that, although hard, resides in love and thus must be done. Okay, that's day 14. Thank you for being here. Happy journaling. If you have any questions, I'll see you in the comments, which are getting flooded. I haven't been able to keep up, but keep it coming. I appreciate it all. And I'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 11 a.m. For another get together. All right. Happy journaling. Much love. See you then. Bye.